Okay, so when I say the word fungi, what pops into your head? Probably, mushrooms on pizza, right? Or maybe some mold on that bread you forgot about. But that's barely scratching the surface. We're talking about a huge, powerful, and mostly invisible kingdom of life that is literally everywhere. So yeah, let's dive into this hidden world.
So what's the deal with them? Are they friend or are they foe? Well, the crazy thing is the answer is both. And that's exactly what we're going to break down right now, this incredible two-sided nature they have.
All right, let's start with the friend category, and this is a big one. Think about one of the most important medical discoveries ever. I'm talking about penicillin. You know, the antibiotic that saved millions upon millions of lives? Well, that comes from a fungus. It's a totally natural compound that a fungus makes. So yeah, that's a massive point for Team Fungi right out of the gate. But on the flip side, for as much good as they do, they can also be a huge problem. They can threaten our entire food supply. Fungi are behind some really catastrophic plant diseases that can just decimate entire crops. And they're the number one reason our food goes bad, from our fruits and veggies to our bread.
Okay, let's double down on the good stuff for a minute. Fungi aren't just kind of helpful. In a lot of ways, they are the essential architects of the world as we know it. They're these incredible creators and recyclers.
I mean, their creative power is just off the charts. They're basically the planet's cleanup crew, right? They break down all the dead stuff and recycle those nutrients back into the soil. They're what makes our bread rise and our beer, well, beer. We already talked about the antibiotics. But get this, we even use some yeasts in genetic engineering to make modern vaccines like the one for hepatitis B. Oh, and of course, some of them are just plain delicious. You know, this idea of them being biosynthetic factories is just perfect. It's the best way to describe them. They're these tiny, microscopic powerhouses, just churning out all this useful stuff we use in industry. Everything from alcohols to acids. They really are nature's chemists. Okay, but with all that creation comes destruction. So let's flip the coin. Let's look at how fungi act as nature's demolition crew. And wow, their appetite for destruction is just immense. We're not just talking about spoiling food. They can destroy paper, cloth, you name it. They cause all kinds of diseases in animals and in us. They can produce deadly toxins, and, check this out, they can even damage stuff as hard as glass lenses and marble statues. Seriously. Now, when we're talking about the diseases they cause in humans, which are called mycoses, it's kind of like a ladder. It can start off as something pretty minor, superficial, just on your skin. But from there, it can dig deeper into the next layers of skin, causing some really nasty problems. And in the worst case scenarios, you get systemic infections that spread through your whole body. And that can be really life-threatening, especially if your immune system is already weak. So you're probably asking, how? How can one type of organism be both this master creator and this master destroyer? Well, to figure that out, we have to look at their unique biological blueprint. We got to go inside. Okay, so let's start with what we all recognize, a mushroom. But here's the thing. The mushroom is just the fruiting body. It's like the apple on a tree. The real organism, the main event, is happening completely out of sight, underground. See, the main body of the fungus is actually this enormous branching network called a mycelium. And when I say enormous, I mean it. This thing can stretch for acres. It's why some fungi are actually the largest living organisms on the entire planet. And it even works as a communication network for plants. People call it the Wood Wide Web. How cool is that? Now, if we zoom in even closer on that network, you'd see it's made up of countless tiny tube-like threads. These are called hyphae, and these little threads are the fundamental building blocks that let the whole thing grow and spread. So what holds these little tubes together? It's this super tough, flexible material called chitin. This stuff makes up their cell wall, and it's a huge deal because it's what makes them, well, fungi. It separates them from plants, which use cellulose for their cell walls, and from animals like us, since we don't have cell walls at all. It's their secret weapon for being so resilient. And don't be fooled by how they look. Inside every one of those threads is a really complex cell. Fungi are eukaryotes, which puts them in the same club as us. They have a nucleus, they have mitochondria making energy, they've got all the advanced machinery of a complex life form. Okay, so based on that structure, fungi usually show up in two main forms. On one hand, you've got your molds. These are the ones made up of that network of threads, the hyphae that we just looked at. And on the other hand, you have yeasts. And these guys are different. They're single-celled and just live as individual little cells. All right, let's zoom back out. So we have this unique blueprint, right? A complex cell, a super tough wall made of chitin, and this massive network for absorbing stuff. So how does all that let them have such a huge impact on our world? Well, it all comes down to one thing: how they eat. Basically, fungi have three main lifestyles or strategies. First, they can be saprophytes, which means they eat dead stuff. That's them being the planet's recyclers. Second, they can be parasites, feeding on living things. That's when they become disease causers. Or third, they can be symbiotes, where they live in a partnership with another organism that's good for both of them. And here's the absolute key to understanding all of this. Fungi are what we call osmoeotrophic. That means they don't have mouths. They don't eat food like we do. Instead, they basically spit out digestive enzymes into their environment, let those enzymes break everything down, and then they just absorb the nutrients right through their cell walls. That single process is the secret to all their power. So it doesn't matter if they're absorbing nutrients from a dead leaf, a living tree, or even a chunk of marble. It's that one fundamental process that allows them to be both creators and destroyers. It's how their hidden kingdom manages to thrive pretty much everywhere on this planet. From the air we breathe to the ground we walk on, we really, truly live in a fungal world. So there you have it. They're a source of life-saving medicine and devastating disease, a vital partner, and a relentless enemy. It all brings us back to this incredible hidden kingdom. And it makes you wonder, right? With everything we've just uncovered, what other secrets are they still hiding?